Yes. Yes, MK, thank you very much for joining our last session. And I think actually I'm very grateful that all of you are supporting from since beginning, especially MK and others since I think 2015, correct? 2015 when we start our last journey. 15 or 16, actually, I forget. This is the 5 years running
16.
now.
It is 2016. I remember very well.
This is the fifth year, actually. This is the fifth year, and this year is the virtual year. Yes, and as NK mentioned that every year we do in a once actually physical session, but we will run a lot of couple of virtual session also. But it will be not like 3 days kind of things. Maybe 1 day, half day session, something like that. Okay, NK,
Yeah.
I think it's up to you now. You can start your session. I will mute. Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much, Masood. And thanks a lot for giving this platform and inviting me to moderate this last panel of this event. And I feel proud myself to be moderating these sessions with industry giants. And all the panelists, what I saw here are the experts in their specific domain. And I'm also fortunate to have with me one of the end user also who uses data center. So good evening. Before I move, I just wanted to have a brief introduction. So myself, NK Singh. I head the business for Uptime Institute for India and neighboring countries. Fortunately, I had my two colleagues. They were managed the last two panels. And as you know, Uptime Institute has been helping the data center industry for the last 25 years. And with customer so that their business runs continuously without any interruption, and they're able to maximize the leverage of their existing investment on the data center, enhance the life of the data center, efficiency, etc. We have been also doing a lot of advisory around hybrid IT uh, across the data center layers, I would say. So, in this today's topic, we are talking about data center monitoring. So, other two topics we have already talked about: data center reliability, one of the key pillar. Second pillar is data center operational sustainability, and the third pillar we are talking about monitoring. So, monitoring is nothing but a support to both these two topics what we talked about. I don't have to tell you about the importance of data centers and why organizations are spending so much money as a captive and the operational expenditure, because data centers are like a telco. It is highly captive as well as OPEX intensive investments, and organization does it to protect their business. And data center monitoring is something which there is a saying, and when you talk about quality, there is a saying that whatever you measure, you can be able to improve. If you don't measure, then improvement is not possible, and you would be there, living in the blind zone. So basic purpose of improvement is the measurement, and the monitoring of data center plays a very, very important role in uh, bringing the clarity or the visibility to the data center owners at every stage or every on the real time or at different intervals. So, with me, I have panelists. I would like to just have a brief introduction of myself, and then I would request them to have a detailed introduction one by one after that. So the first panelist I have is Mr. Taher Ahmed Chowdhury. He is a Deputy Managing Director for and CITO for Islamic Bank. I would like to welcome you to this panel, Mr. Taher. And after introducing all the panelists, I will allow all the panelists to introduce themselves, yourself, and briefly about your organization. Second panelist I have is Mr. J.S. Wong, CEO for Talariax Pte Limited. Yeah, they are in enterprise mobility solutions. So we'll try and understand how it is going to help in this particular topic and data center. Third panelist I have is Mr. Anjani Kommisetti. Is he available in the panel? I have not seen him.
Yes, Singh.
Okay, great. So he is country manager Raritan and Servertech, and they have complete range of solutions around monitoring devices and solutions. Fourth panelist I have is Mr. Aleksandr Jesikov. He is Regional Director Business Development for APAC, Luxriot. They are into business video management systems. We'll also understand more about it and how does it help. And the fifth panelist I have is Mr. Kasiviswanathan, Director PowerShield APAC. They are into the battery management system. So I would like to invite Mr. Taher Ahmed Chowdhury to just talk brief about you, and then we'll move to the next.
Good evening and Assalamu alaikum to all. It's my pleasure to be a panelist for such a DC summit, technical summit. I am Taher Ahmed Chowdhury, working for Islami Bank Bangladesh Limited as Deputy Managing Director and Chief Information Technology Officer. I've started my career since 1986 from Jesikov Computers Limited, the largest IT company, the first and largest IT company over the country. Then I worked for Jesikov for 15 years. Then I just switched to different organizations, say Power Development, Marine Academy, that is producing naval, nautical and engineering cadets. I have to conduct it. I have to conduct the navigational equipment since my basic education is electronics and communication engineering. Then again I came back to Jesikov. Then I again came back to Jesikov. I started my banking career from IFIC Bank Bangladesh Limited since 2005. And data center no telco having the large data center as standard and as large as IFIC Bank deployed, because the data center area was 6,000 square feet. So then actually I switched to First Security Islami Bank Bangladesh Limited. I have worked for the BRAC, the largest NGO over the globe, and as in IBM Advanced Career Education, as a faculty member of System Networking, A+ certification, Cisco certification, and I was actually certified on Microsoft Certified System Engineering, Cisco CCNA, MCSC. And I'm the first Microsoft certified professional in the country. I completed certification to my SOC analyst certification from EC Council. So I have a certification for different area on different portfolio, because these days I am working as a Deputy Managing Director. Actually, Islami Bank Bangladesh, the owner of the Islami Bank Bangladesh Limited, actually he is the owner of the 6 banks over the country. 6 banks over the country. So I have deployed all the data center and disaster recovery side for those banks as a leader of the IT for the 7 banks over the country under the umbrella of a single owner in the country. So these days actually I have just working with different portfolio. IT is my basic responsibility, my core responsibility. But since a deputy managing director, I have to conduct some others portfolio and investment, then loan and advances, then Camelco. Actually, in different areas and management areas of the organization, I have to contribute. So this is actually me. I told you about myself in a short. But when you will ask me some questions, then I am ready to answer you about me. And some when the session will be actual session will be started, then I will say about myself and my contribution over the data center that now I am working for Islami Bank. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Taher. It was a very well described the background about Islamic Bank and your role. And then I would like to invite Mr. Wong to introduce yourself and your organization.
Yeah, hi, good evening, everyone. I'm JS Wong from a company called Talariax, which is based in Singapore. So I'm actually in Singapore currently. And our product basically is, we're actually in a business of mentioned is in mobility, but more specifically, we focus in the messaging space of the mobility. Right? So what it means here is that we provide the systems and the technology to help companies to send messages from any systems, right, to any mobile phones or cell phones that your user is holding. So we send messages today in the form of SMS text or in the form of WhatsApp, WeChat, Line, Telegram, and so on and so forth. So basically our objective is to help companies to bring any messages that they want to send out and deliver it immediately to the phone of the recipients or the users. So you might be wondering that in that case, what has the relevance of this messaging technology with data center? So when we first started this about 20 years ago, is that companies are using messaging in all kinds of businesses, right? So they can be using for like notifications, reminders, marketing, one-time passcodes, and OTP, and so on and so forth. But in the last like 5 to 8 years, right, we see a greater demand from the data center space, right? When the data center are getting more and more important, more and more critical, and they have to upgrade in the competition to tier 3 with all the new technologies in the data center with a 9.99999 uptime. One thing that companies rely on to ensure that all this working properly is that you have to inform the people, right, either proactively or reactively when something happens, right? In the data center today, you look at the whole thing, right? It's actually very, very extensive. In the data center, you have the physical security, any breach of security, any of your CCTV capture anything in your smart building systems, in your crack, your chiller, your diesel generator, towards your sensor today, all your IoT devices. So everything in the data center today is very, very smart, right? Companies putting a lot of dollars, right, a lot of investments to make the data center as intelligent as possible. So with all this data that's being captured, all these incidents are being surfaced to the data center team, is that they need to send the notifications to the engineers. Yes, you can have people sitting down at your control center, your command center to look at the screen, but the problem is that you cannot capture everything because there's so many red lights going. Which one is more important? You don't know. I think that's where, at the same time, 5 to 8 years ago, right, there's this new software that come into the picture called DCIM. Right? I'm sure many of you, like from Raritan, from all the different space, right? You know what this, and DCIM actually gave birth to a more intelligent way to monitor the data center. And that is where suddenly companies say, hey, I'm able to see data from the APC racks to the Vertiv, UPS, to Legrand, to all kind of products together and into one platform. In the past, they cannot do that. In the past, they have no visibility in the data center. Everything in silos. But when DCIM come about, suddenly they can see everything. And they say, oh gosh, there's so many things happening. So how do I get to my engineer when something happens? And that's where we come in, right? We started to see companies from like APC, the Schneider, Vertiv, everyone who say, hey, I have a DCIM and my customer wants to get notification when something goes wrong. What can you help? That's where we come in, right? So our product, SendQuick, today works with a lot of data centers, right? Yes, we are based in Singapore. I can say that in every single major telco-owned data center in Singapore, we have our systems there. We are helping them working 24/7. When anything happens, whether in the banking system, whether in the insurance company, whether in a telco, or whether you're whether you're the cloud providers, right? When something happens, temperature goes up, something trips, unauthorized access, anything that you want to get it out, we send notifications to the engineers. And that's how we get involved in the data center space. And we see today a lot of demand where from customers in every data center today, we become, it's a must. It's a must that you have, just like a must that you have your power, a must that you have your crack, it's a must to have a DCIM. And when you have that, it's a must to have a notification system. And that's where our product comes in. So with that, we have expanded to customers in more than 40 countries today, right? We have customers in fact, we're customer in Bangladesh as well, to as far as the US, Europe, and everywhere. So I think that is where we come in, and I'd like to share in this panel today about how in the aspect of monitoring, I think what we see is that a lot of people forgot that they think that monitoring ends at the monitoring software, right? No, it doesn't end there. The monitoring or don't look at monitoring, look at how you keep your data center going, 99.5, 99.999, okay? And you need the whole ecosystem, the whole complete system from monitoring all the way to notification to incident response to ensure everything is working. So that's where I hope to share with the team today.
Thank you very much, Mr. Wong. I think very interesting, because messaging, how it is getting integrated with the monitoring system and management system. So we'll talk more about it in the subsequently Q&A when we get into it. Parallelly, I'm going next to my next panelist, Mr. Anjani Kommisetti. Just a brief introduction about yourself and your organization.
Good evening, Bangladesh. Good evening, DCtSUMMIT, and good evening, all the panelists. Thank you for inviting me today for this most interactive session. I've been part of a couple of sessions in the morning and yesterday. I've seen presentations that are very interesting. So quickly getting into my introduction, I have 18 years of experience briefly on promoting emerging technology in the space of IT and data center. I'm with Legrand promoting especially the data center monitoring and managing products for last 11 years. So coming to Legrand, I represent two most important brands for this session, Raritan and Servertech, where we build the entire system. The business is completely dependent on how the data center is monitored, measured, analyzed, and actions taken based on these monitoring and measurements in order to improve the whole data center. As Mr. Singh initiated this discussion, data center optimization is purely dependent on as a first step with monitoring. That's where we start. We have intelligent PDUs, which helps to monitor at various points of the outlet level to measure the device level consumption, device level behavior, which in turn results to a lot of optimization and analyzation of the underutilized resources, starting from the rack till the entire power or energy distribution. So I'm sure we'll have a lot to discuss on this topic, being this topic is a main topic today. Yeah, that's it in short from my side, MKC.
Thank you very much, Anjani. Next, I would like to invite Mr. Aleksandr Jesikov.
Hello, everyone. We'll be trying to do briefly as well. I represent Luxriot. In surveillance industry, I'm from for around last 10 years. And I came there from IT industry when I was developing actually some data centers before. The main thing what we do with Luxriot is actually producing scalable video surveillance systems. So when you have a surveillance on a scalable basis, like not just hundreds of servers, but hundred servers with thousands and thousands of cameras overall, this is where we come. And what we do, we actually basically create the data center, not only monitors the cameras and what's going on with the data coming from those cameras, but also monitor the whole system, the servers involved, situation involved with the cameras and additional servers, network situation, and any other aspects that might affect the data center. So when it comes to the data that we receive from the cameras, we also involve the things that we need to monitor all the aspects, from the people moving around to actual facial expressions. When it comes to the actual hardware, again, what situation is with the servers? Are there any difficulties? So what's the temperatures? What's the network consumption? Can we allow additional people to join in or not? And obviously everything must be automated and people must be warned about anything what's going on. And that's why I think I could give my 5 cents into this discussion. Thank you.
Well, great, Aleksandr. I think we'll have also great discussion going forward. Lastly, I would like to invite Mr. Ram Kasiviswanathan. Please.
Good evening, gentlemen. Good evening, Dhaka, Bangladesh. Myself, Ram, checking in from Bangalore, India. I represent this company called PowerShield. PowerShield is a company headquartered in New Zealand, and we specialize in offering what's called battery monitoring systems. All my fellow panelists, co-panelists did talk about the server side, the messaging side, the power distribution, all these things. But as we all know, power is the lifeline of every data center. And every data center, the power gets generated through a DG or from the mains grid, but it goes through what is called the UPS systems. And these UPS systems have batteries built into it. And if these batteries fail, then whatever software side or on the customer facing side we have, everything collapses. So PowerShield specializes in offering a special software for predicting the health of these batteries. So which means it's going to tell in advance that these batteries are going to fail, and you can take replacements so that the uptime of the data center is maintained. So we, as a product, it comes in terms of monitoring of the passive infrastructure in a data center space. But fortunately or unfortunately, that is the most fundamental layer in the passive infrastructure. So if the batteries fail while it has to come into operation, the whole IT infrastructure collapses. So that is where we as a company come in and start adding value in the data center space. That's about the company. And myself, I've been in the energy storage, battery monitoring space for more than a decade. So I would like to add a few cents in this discussion. And I also would like to contribute in terms of how battery monitoring can contribute to the overall data center monitoring and what benefits and value adds it can provide as we move forward in this discussion. Thanks, MKC.
Great. Thank you very much. I think before I move into the discussion, as you know, data center is always very complex system, and it is not one system. Data center consists of multiple layers, which starts from facility layer to data link to network to server, platform, application, so on and so forth. And the bottommost layer when we talk about is the facility layer, which we would be discussing in this particular session. And earlier organizations used to spend more because they were thinking about, if I deploy technology, my business, my applications are taken care of. So if you talk about today in the world, and if you talk about other layers in the data center, you start from network to IT to database to application. They're already automated, and they have reached to a much advanced stage where they are utilizing AI, they are automating the workflows, they are automating a lot of activities which people used to do. However, if you talk about the facility layer, we are much behind from that perspective. And today we are only talking about monitoring, which is the basic aspect of it. DCIM or data center management, infrastructure management, sometimes it gets confused also, because a lot of people talk about DCIM means other data center layer aspect of it, where we talk about the server, IT platform, database, application, etc., etc. But now for last 10 years, because DCIM is not something which is new in the industry, and I have been seeing DCIM for last 15 years. I have been in data center industry for more than 22 years, observing very closely. And still, if you talk about DCIM, for last 3 to 4 years, I would say 2 to 3 years, again the traction has come where customer has realized the importance, and customer, I will not say realized the importance, but realized the importance practically. Earlier, people used to sell DCIM as just like a software, which customer never optimally used it, and they never got the value out of it for the purpose for which they bought the DCI. Due to which it was not so popular. And as you know, Uptime has been doing survey on year basis, and in 2019 survey, there was this question asked about adaptation of DCIM, and where we found the 75% of organizations are using DCIM and they have implemented DCIM successfully. That means they are satisfied with the implementation of the DCIM project. And that's how DCIM adaptation is becoming more and more. Today, I don't see any data center where DCIM is not there. So that talks about the overall movement or trends about the adaptation of DCIM. However, we are far ahead in terms of what we should go for, what other data center layers are working about. Because we are in future, we are talking about software defined data center, where there is no manual interference and your system decides automatically what to do, how to react, how to act on specific incidences. But better late than never, we are still there as far as the DCIM is concerned. And monitoring layer is the basic layer of automation which lies in the data center, where you have sensing and measuring devices which take the feeds from the field and put to the DCIM layer, which decide, analyze, and then put it across. So on that perspective, because I know I have people from the different domains, end user side also, OEM side also, where they have got specific solution, they have got some integrated solution. And my questions would be more aligned to how your solutions are getting aligned with the data center. What are the values which it is being adding, the reliability or operational effectibility of the data center. So again, in the first part, I would like to go to Mr. Chowdhury, because he is the person who is running the data center himself. And it is not only facility layer, he knows all the layers of the data center because he is responsible for. And we would like to hear from you in terms of what is the level of monitoring and management system which you have in your data center? And what is that benefit? Are you getting more benefit out of it? Or you are just having it in the system as a part of it, like people used to just sell DCIM and then forget it? Mr. Taher. Mr. Taher?
He got to unmute.
Mr. Taher, you need to unmute it.
Yes, yes, I have unmuted. Sorry. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity again. Actually, data center monitoring means managing, maintaining the operations of the total data center to ensure the maximum uptime, uninterrupted services, and also to ensure the data availability, integrity, and security as compliance with the operating and organizational requirement. Considering and keeping those in our mind, actually, first of all, I am saying that Islami Bank Limited, only bank over the country, so country that they have deployed and developed 52 services by their own software house, because actually Islami Bank's ICT wing not only the back-end services for the organization, it's a IT firm that are regularly developing the software as needed and as aligned with the business that maximize the services to the end user and also ensure the accuracy as per business needed and as governance with the management, so that we can ensure the services development, modification, changes to the entire satisfaction of business need as well as the end user, I mean customer need. Actually, today's data centers are more complex than the beginning or before we have deployed and established, because today's data center is integrated with the remittance house. Actually, Islami Bank data center having a data center and infrastructure is very complex infrastructure, because we have own agent banking services, mobile financial services, then our Visa network services, then MasterCard. Then we have these days actually we have deployed by ourselves, designed, developed, and deployed the digital wallet and all the alternate delivery channel services are integrated with the digital channel from one stop of services. So all the Visa network, national payment switch of the central bank over the country, and also the MasterCard network are also integrated. So we have the more and much interoperability with the other banks, since the Islami Bangladesh Bank is a very large customer base, industry-based customers, and the bank in the country and within the 1,000 bank over the globe, and number one Islami Bank over the globe. So we have to design, deploy all the infrastructure facilities, and we see and monitoring all the infrastructure facilities, all the areas accurately with redundant human resources and all the redundant equipment configured as to maximize the uninterruptible services. So if we say from the power utility, we having the smooth power from the grid line, then we just using two generator with a ATS, then UPS, and we have the UPS configured as 2n+2, so that having the most reliability and dependency. Actually, we are measuring all the UPS from a central location, from NOC, we have the NOC center, and we are having a SOC center. All the networking performance and networking tools and equipments are monitoring from the network NOC center, and through our real-time tools and services, and we are using sophisticated real-time tools so that we can monitor all the things in real time. So that any time of any components failure, battery health, battery module, we can visualize all the things in the dashboard. In our SOC center, actually, we are deployed the standard security devices as compliance with the central bank, as well as the global standard to protect our card data. We are just at the moment of the getting the PCI DSS certification very soon, and we have completed all the requirement and fulfill all the necessities just to get the PCI DSS certification. We have deployed SIEM, we have deployed PAM, we have deployed AAA server, we are next generation firewall, next generation IPS. So these all are the AI based. We are all on the way to deploy the big data analytics, so that Islami Bangladesh Limited has deployed as maximum as tools to monitor all the services and from every location, because our network are segmented into so many zones or perimeters, so that each perimeter is isolated from another through firewall and the intelligence, advanced analytics based firewall, AI based firewall, so that Islamic Bank employees, actually we are managing the employees, because since all the software are core banking, batch, EFT and real-time gross settlement, mobile banking, then agent banking and digital platform are developed, designed by our own people behind the machine. Actually, we have the expert people who know the core anatomy of every services that we are providing, and we are actually saving more than 100 crore per year from the service level agreement, because our people instantly providing the services. So those money actually we are investing for our employees for their remuneration, training, certification, and just so that we can make them happy working with the Islami Bank Bangladesh Limited. And all our services are monitoring, all the logs are maintaining from the SIEM, from the PAM. We are collecting the any administrator which are just logging the system, and all the services actually are monitored in a very sophisticated, trained people. Alhamdulillah, we can say that Islami Bank Bangladesh Limited is the #1 infrastructure-based, service-based, and solution-based company and bank in the banking sector. And our customers are too much happy, because they cannot. If once customer be a part of the Islami Bangladesh Limited, they can never leave the Islami Bangladesh Limited, because our honesty, sincerity, and dedication to the services. And also I am sincerely telling you that for the last 10 years, Islami Bangladesh Limited did not receive any external threat, and our internal vulnerabilities actually we are always monitoring using the penetration testing tools, software review tools, then any other, so then the SolarWind, Orion network monitoring and management solution tools. So Islami Bank Bangladesh Limited is the #1 bank as compliance. We are maintaining as per guidelines of the central bank, as well as global standard like National Institute of Standard Technology. So in case of audit, internal audit and external audit from the central bank, I say Bangladesh Bank, where they are always marking us as a AAA grading bank over the country. So Islami Bank Bangladesh Limited always work for the satisfaction, sincerity, honesty, dedication, and they are also happy working in the bank, because we are in the money from in their salary, their remuneration, incentive, so that they can always be with us. And in case of selecting the human resources, actually we survey the market, who are the best people in terms of honesty, dedication, trying to provide the best practices to the employees so that they can always hire the best people and best technology people, dedicated people. And another beauty of Islami Bangladesh Limited is that we are actually engaging only in our data center different employees and experts from different religion. Because in time of Ramadan, if I say Muslim people, you have to work, you have to do your duty, night duty for the data center. He cannot dedicatedly do the services and responsibility from the responsibility rightly. So in that case, different cast of religions and employees, actually we are giving the preference to recruit, and our management are also happy with their dedication and behavior and their expertise, because always round the year, round the month, all the people are certified online certificate, certified global vendor certification, and CISA certified, CISO certified, data center certified. So regularly, in a periodically, actually we are just conducting some training session so that our employees, our technical people are always share the knowledge and keep themselves updated in terms of technology and as well as the security devices. So must I always keep a budget for my subordinate officer, for my team members, so that they can build their skills through training process, and they have got some recreation while they are doing the training out of the country. So our employees, actually, I am working with them with a very romantic way, very as a user friendly. I am as a boss, so they openly they have the chance to tell anything, there any disadvantage, there any mental depression, and I go door to door of every employees, and I just scan the mentalities all the employees, so that how he is there any family problem, is there any difficulties in their daily life, so that everything I am trying to measure from a common scale, and so that they can be happy. Sometimes I do some romantic.
Yes, Mr. Chowdhury.
They are coming to every officers, even a cleaner, a technician have the opportunity to come to me, to talk to me, to just say his problem, so that I can, because a technician is more important, more than engineer in sometimes.
So
Because
Mr. Chowdhury,
a technician, while he is doing the duty in the data center, while he is doing the duty in the server area, thus he is seeing the water leakage, he is seeing the
Mr. Chowdhury, I think we are not able to hear you. Hello? Okay. So I'll come back to you again once the network improves with you with the follow-up questions. Parallelly, I would like to go to Mr. John. You have very interesting solution, messaging solution, and this solution is not old. This solution has been working for ages, right? And one thing I always see, continuous monitoring of data center events, whatever comes in, the real action comes. So you need to identify during the entire process that at what incident and what to act. And that's where this notification and messaging comes into the picture. I have seen, I mean, my question to Mr. Wong also, that there has been some monitoring and management tool. They have got notification inbuilt. So how does your this messaging get integrated with the existing monitoring and management tool? And how does it help or add more value towards the objective what we are looking for data center.
Okay, thanks,
Actually-
thank you, Nanda. That's a very good question, right? Everybody always asks us, hey, no, the monitoring tools already have the notifications, so why do we still need your product? I think the key thing here is that we are not saying that we are doing a lot better than what other people can be doing, okay? But I think we have to ask every management to take a step back, right? When they are planning for the monitoring or for the infrastructure. Okay, so see the reality is that in your infrastructure today, is like mentioned earlier on, is so complex, right? It's not a system, it's an ecosystem. There are so many things that exist. Just take a look at the data center by itself, right? The data center can at least go 3 layers. Like what do I mean? We can talk about the physical layer. Physical layer, you talk about the physical access, your CCTV, your power, your air conditions, or your building management. That's one layer by itself. Then you go to a network layer, right? The network layer, the IP layer, and the building layer are all different things, or different people. Then beyond that, you probably go one step level to the security layer, right? So just about these 3 layers alone, you have so many products, so many brands, and so many monitoring. DCIM we talk about is only one part of it. And I don't think today DCIM can cover everything. So today you still have a BMS, right? You still have IoT systems, you still have your SIEM, you still have your NMS, and you have so many systems. I guess the question come back to the management is that if I am going to use the monitoring that exists in each of these systems, wow, I'm going to have like 20 or 50 or 100 set of systems to manage just for notification alone. How do you manage, right? And then not only that question, how do you manage? The even question is that how do you know that you do not miss anyone for any of the situations, or for that matter, how do you avoid duplications? I think that's where we come in, right? The SendQuick product serves as a centralized gateway. We do not do the monitoring portion, right? We do not take over the role of the DCIM, nor the SIEM, or the MNS, or the BMS. In fact, we complement all these solutions. So today we have a data center in Sydney, for example, right? They're the largest data center in Sydney, which they use our product for their BMS system. We have the largest bank in Singapore, right, using us for their DCIM. Then we have companies who use us for their MNS, right, with their SCOM, with their SolarWinds, with their Patrol. We have a lot of people using our product with their ServiceNow, for example. So I think looking at that perspective, the burning questions that they have is that, yes, they can all do monitoring, they can do notification, but when I want to send out to the mobile phones for the notification, I want to centralize them. Okay? Especially if you want to send out through SMS or through the different messenger, right? Just imagine if you use sending to SMS to the cloud or to the SIM card, right? I think we come in a special position. You are the only player in the marketplace, probably in this part of the world, that I can give you options for 3 types of deployment. You want to deploy fully secure on-premise with SIM card technologies, we have it. We have a lot of customers who say, well, JS, now I want to do notification, but I cannot connect to the internet because of security, right? Because of the cyber threat, or because of compliance, we cannot connect to the internet. Now, do you have a solution? Yes, we have. We've deployed a lot of these solutions to a lot of government, even to military, right, in that perspective. But on the other spectrum, where customers say that, well, I'm comfortable, right, I can send the messages to the cloud, right? Can you do notification for us? Yes, we have. We have a fully cloud solutions, right, that can accept your email, can accept your API from your Google Cloud, from your Amazon, from your what I call Azure, all the major cloud providers. They can integrate to us seamlessly, and we can send notifications for them quickly. And we have customers say, well, I'm moving to hybrid cloud, right? Do you have a solution? We do. Our virtual machines can fulfill that requirements for customers. So we form as a centralized gateway, centralized messaging system for the organization. Now with this, it makes it very easy for them to manage. You really manage the list from one system. You don't have to worry about who get notified because it's all managed from our system. And we have filter rules, right? We have allowed you to configure the rules from which system trigger to which person, based on which keyword to which person. And it's two-way, right? When it comes back, right, we have APIs that allows us to integrate back to the different subsystems, right? So I think this is where customers will feel, wow, this is a much better way to manage. And that's how our value proposition to a data center. And as I explained, right, before we do data center, like 5 to 8 years ago, we have a lot of systems deployed in the IT environment with their monitoring system, security, in the old days, right, environmental monitoring, temperature sensor before the DCIM. And that's how we actually evolve and together to a data center and fulfill the requirement for the end users in the data center.
Oh, great. So typically what you are saying is your solution is complementing the monitoring and management solutions which is there in the different data center layers, and your messaging solution can be integrated across any of the data center layers, right? Whether it is network or server or database or platform or application, any layer, right? Or facility. Is it?
Yes, that's right. So today, as long as you have IP based, so we are actually purely IP, right? As long as you can send messages through the IP network, right? And today we have ability to receive messages in a format like email, like SNMP trap, syslog, REST API, HTTP API, FTP files, virtually anything, right? All systems today, we have, on the other hand, is that in my 20 years doing messaging, I have not seen a system or any brands for any country, as long as they have IP address, right, that cannot work with us. So we work with so many brands like Servertech, right? We have worked with Servertech before. Okay,
so I have
all the
follow-up
different
questions
UPSs.
also. Yeah, I have follow-up questions. I'll come later on this. Before that, I would like to go to Mr. Anjani. So you have a solution around, you have sensing devices, measuring devices, and you're also talking about monitoring and management solution. So can you be able to elaborate more about it? In what layer? Are you taking care of the complete DCIM umbrella, or you have got a specific part of the DCIM which you take care of?
Yeah, thanks, Singh, for that question. So what we do is, when you talk about DCM is a beautiful application layer which presents every data that is possible from all the monitoring systems that is available, be it intelligent PDUs, be it your BMS system, your battery monitoring system, your HVAC, UPS, or any other reporting system, including the ticketing systems and all, right? So that's a single pane of window which you will get everything. But the core intelligence in gathering information at a monitoring level has to come from bits and pieces of multiple hardware, which has to be deployed at various points. So we focus on all this hardware that is required. You call it as intelligent PDUs at the rack level, or the various types of sensors, including temperature, humidity, airflow, differential air pressure, proximity, vibration, water, smoke, buzzer, hooters, all these kind of sensors that you would be needing at various points in the entire data center from end to end, be it these sensors and other smart locks for the racks in terms of adding security. And also we have gone one step ahead of integrating the USB based web cameras to our intelligent PDUs in order to feed all this data to the DCM. So what we do is we empower the DCM by giving a granular level of information on various points. So that is how we complement the DCM. So DCM is an umbrella and we feed all the data to the DCM. So we work very hand in hand with the Sunbird DCM for both our monitoring analytics as well as complete data center management. But having said that, our systems are very open to work with any open DCM. It's not that it only works with any proprietary, it works with everything. So what we are doing, especially in terms of monitoring when it comes to Singh. So whole data center, if you have to optimize, you need to focus on three elements, that is space, power, and cooling, and starting with monitoring. And we say that, if you can focus and optimize at a rack level on all aspects of this, then that eventually will result in the whole data center optimization. Okay. So we focus in the rack level with our intelligent PTUs, the intelligent power distribution units, monitoring at a socket level, helping to understand what is the device level consumption. So it's not just about power consumption, but with that you can also correlate what is the computing that is being utilized. So you have infused computing, but you're not utilizing effectively, then you can assess that. With that, you can identify what are the underutilized servers or computing systems that can be appropriately used with more computing capabilities. So which eventually results in the load of the entire power distribution system, right? And then we also monitor the circuit breakers of the PDUs at the tap-off boxes of the bus bar system, and also at the MCBs and distribution boards throughout the entire energy distribution chain in the data centers. Similarly, coming back to the rack, we have a complete environmental monitoring sensors to sense the temperature and humidity sensors as per ASHRAE guidelines, and also to benchmark with what is ASHRAE recommending and what you're doing. With this, what you can do is by sensing that, you can actually optimize, and you will be able to effectively utilize your cooling. And in fact, you can increase the set ambient temperatures to a higher degrees, which results obviously into your OPEX reduction through power bills, etc. And that's where. So that is where we are focusing. So we have all these equipments which is complementing to the DCM, helping customers to monitor, and we integrate with many third-party systems in order to work as an integrated solution. That's where our specialization is.
Oh, great. So as you rightly said, it is more to do with taking the data from the field and fitting it to the analytical thing that will analyze and give the right results, right? So these are all maximum sensing and measurement devices what you provide to the DCIM or whatever management tool they are using.
So that is our first step, to do a sensing and measurement. Then we also help customers to set up various thresholds. So for example, you have a threshold on consumption of power for a specific device or a specific rack, then we can send alerts when somebody tried to consume more than what has been allocated. That's one way of doing it. And similarly, a set temperature and humidity, if it changes, then we'll send an alert and notification. And similarly, if somebody is trying to tamper the rack door, the proximity sensor and the intelligent lock and the USB camera works in hand as a solution to sense, alert, and notify somebody what's happening at the racks. Okay. Because we have to work in hand with the other systems like Sandquick and everything to send the right notification to the right user. Right? It's important to notify a right person at the right time. Then provided with an action. So in case if there is an classic example to say, if there is a problem with a specific SMPS where we are measuring the power of that device, but it's radically behaving it. In a whole data center, it is very difficult to figure out if there is a problem with one specific server, because that small fluctuation would not result much when you look at the holistic picture. But it can sense it and automatically send an alert. At the same time, you can also take an action with the control system that is built in with the PDU to automatically power off or reboot that machine and automatically power on after a certain period. Okay. To see that the situation
that kind of feature also there which can trigger some action to happen, right?
So right from monitoring, measuring, analyzing, and the notification, and then taking some actions as well.
Okay, great.
It's not stopping. So it's from a reactive to proactive, you can set everything that is possible.
Thank you very much, Anjani, for your details. Now I will go back to Mr. Aleksandr. So you are talking about the video management system, which is more to video surveillance, etc. Right. I just wanted to know in terms of in data center application, apart from just the surveillance, what is the other value add what you provide in data center from enhancing the reliability or resiliency or mitigating the risk of outages and also optimizing the overall operational stuff?
Okay, so if we will take away just the surveillance away from this aspect and more concentrate on actually monitoring the hardware and the stability of the system, the main thing that we do, first of all, is full automation of the processes, because not only we automatically react on whatever surveillance event can happen, we also automatically can react on the hardware or system event, which is very important in our case. And but the most thing what we do, because we, first of all, we are developer of video surveillance, right? So if we will do DCIM, advanced DCIM, or we will do messaging, or we will do battery metering, yeah, we won't be already video surveillance software, and we won't be able to allow ourselves to get video surveillance features, the main product features up to date. So the main thing in our case is API. And we have very simple and easy to integrate API that allow us to work with the things like send quick from JS Wong, which will allow a quick integration of any other technologies our partner colleagues here presenting. Yeah, this is the most important thing. What we can do is allow quick integration with other third parties which are more competent and which are built for those things, because obviously we can monitor what's the situation with the servers, yeah, but the things we can monitor are limited. We can do something about the network. Again, we are limited. And if we will move on towards this, we won't be already more doing things for video surveillance, which is our main product and which we must improve better. So what the main thing is improving and allowing a lot of capabilities with API, allowing more complex scenarios and a bigger variety of scenarios of what we can do and how we can automate. Simple as that.
So I'm not able to correlate in terms of, you said server monitoring, hardware monitoring, etc. So is your system monitors hardware performance and health of hardwares?
From whatever Windows capable actually sending. So we also monitor it, especially when it comes to global system, because you cannot not have it in a global system. Otherwise, things will fail and nobody will know. You can't allow this, because when it comes to the scalable system, let's say we have even 100 servers, but with even 1,000 just cameras, but not always, and it's not necessary nowadays to monitor all the cameras. So in some cases, you might not even know that the server is actually not working. So, or even on hardware basis, obviously we monitor everything, because we can do things like failovers, replications, and etc., etc., etc. So this is a critical. Obviously, we not only can do it, we must do it when it comes to enterprise systems.
So does your feed take it from the screen, or you take the inputs from the server itself? Is your feeds coming through the camera, or is it the feeds coming from the server hardware itself?
So first we get the feeds to the server and then distribute it. And the rest is already about the environment. Will be a regular network environment, multicast environment, and etc.
What is the level of AI you have been using in the surveillance system?
Oh, there's actually a big variety, from facial recognition, license plate recognition, and to various modules of VCA. Will it be vehicle recognition, color recognition, sound recognition, basic VCA with counters, objects, classification. So basically that a lot of scenarios that we can deal with, right?
Okay, great. Thanks, Aleksandr. I'm moving to Mr. Ram Kasiviswanathan. I know something, and most of the people on the panel or audience may be knowing around battery management system. However, obviously there are a lot of detailing. There are different types of monitoring. There are different kind of monitoring, level of monitoring. So I would like to understand more about this battery management system in terms of how you guys are monitoring and how it is adding to the overall. I know one of the critical thing which is there in the data center is battery. Battery power availability is like your heart pumping the blood in the data center. So that is the level of, because that is the only thing which provides power while interruptions happens in the power. At the same time, batteries are very, very hazardous, dangerous. If it is not taken care of well, it can be disastrous. So that's where this battery management system comes into the picture. So over to Ram, can you explain more about your solutions and how does it helps customers and data center owners? Ram, you are on mute.
Yes, I've unmuted. Uh, Thanks, NK. I think you have given a good brief introduction about why battery monitoring. As we speak, I think one of the panelists, Mr. Taher, did talk about Islamic Bank and the kind of services they offer and all the infrastructure what they have. But all these things is possible because of the lifeline of power. And UPSs play a very important role in providing that uninterrupted power. And these UPSs are, as I said in the beginning, are powered by batteries. So if this layer crashes or collapses, the entire data center business goes for a toss, obviously leading to lower uptime, failures, downtime, whatnot, brand image of the data center. So monitoring batteries become very, very critical, number one. Number two, in terms of how it is done, is that batteries are like the tires of a car. However great your other car is, whether it's a BMW or a Mercedes or even some other car, at the end of the day, you need these battery tires will fail because batteries are a consumable. It is bound to fail. Now, when it fails, that is something a solution like ours predict. The way it predicts and the way it does is that you gave a very good example of heart batteries being the heart and pumping blood, etc. Something similar. Supposing we fit some medical devices like an ECG machine or a BP meter or a diabetic meter on a particular patient and continuously monitor the various parameters of that patient, you are very likely to predict a heart attack of that patient, as long as you're able to continuously get the data and analyze the data. The same similar thing we do for batteries. We provide sensors on all the batteries, and these batteries are being tracked on a continuous basis. The data is collected consistently, and the data is analyzed continuously. One of the good thing about, or the bad thing about battery monitoring, unlike other monitoring, is that, for example, in the UPS monitoring, if you start monitoring the output, and if there is no output, it's more of binary, it is 0 or 1. You can immediately go and fix it. Whereas when it comes to batteries, it is not binary. It's all about data monitoring. You need to compare the various electrical parameters of the battery, how it was yesterday, how it is today, and how it will be tomorrow. But the most critical thing here is under the same set of conditions. So battery monitoring systems have this inbuilt intelligence. Basically, it's a sensor network by which individual batteries are tracked continuously. And then based on the data available, analysis made, and then the customers get a warning or an alarm saying that, out of maybe 1,000 batteries, battery number 42 has got an issue. You need to look at, you need to replace. So that is the kind of benefit or value add a battery monitoring system provides. So that is one in terms of giving uptime to the whole data center. The second value add from a battery monitoring system is that it can also enhance the life of the battery, because batteries fail or die out of what is called a domino effect. Not all batteries fail at the same time. One battery fails, then slowly and gradually the other batteries follow suit. If you take UPS, you have maybe 40 batteries or maybe 240 batteries of 2 volts. So if you are able to identify this bad battery right at an early stage and handle it separately and differently, then you will be able to increase the overall life of the battery bank. In fact, I know in this part of the world, or in most part of the world, batteries are replaced based on time. Batteries get replaced maybe once in 3 years. That's a cycle they have. And my theory for this is that the reason why people do it is for the fear of the unknown. They don't know when it's going to fail. They don't know what's going to happen. But by having a battery monitoring system deployed, you can come out of this fear of the unknown. You can take your decisions based on the actual health of the battery, actual condition of the battery, rather than purely time-based. So battery monitoring systems enhances the overall uptime of the data center and also provides a very good ROI of the battery and ensures that the battery works when it is needed the most. That is when there is a power outage. Right. So these are the two very big value proposition of a battery monitoring system.
Great, thank you. Anything specific difference, because there are multiple battery management systems solutions available in the market with multiple brands and all. Is there anything specific you would like to highlight?
Yes. One is in any battery monitoring system, one needs to look at the accuracy of the internal ohmic measurement, which the battery monitoring system does. Here we are talking about the impedance or internal ohmic values of micro-ohms or milliohms. So that is one important factor wherein a system like ours score over. The second most important thing or major thing I would like to highlight here is that you did mention about the criticality of the batteries and how the batteries can explode. These are literally bombs sitting under the data center. And if they are not handled properly, there are chances and there are live cases where the batteries have exploded and fire accidents have happened. So one of the reason or one of the root cause of this battery explosion is what is called a thermal runaway of the battery. So which means before it reaches this explosion stage, because of the internal chemistry of the battery, the temperature of the battery goes up substantially at a very, very high pace. So in our system, we provide what is called the TRP, thermal runaway protection. It's a standard feature in our product. It's more of a temperature measurement of individual batteries, and then based on some timer, the battery monitoring system can automatically switch off a breaker or can give a command to the UPS, a signal to the UPS, by which the UPS can adjust its charging current, etc. So the whole idea here is to prevent a battery explosion. So TRP is a very, very important safety thing that we do provide and we do recommend to all our customers, because at the end of the day, safety is the most important thing, more than efficiency and uptime. So that's where we come in.
Thank you, Ram. Thanks a lot for elaborating the details. So we have around 17-18 minutes time. I have got few questions from audience also. So I would like to take audience questions before, if time permits, I will have my other questions. I will take the follow-up questions too. So the question is from audience to Mr. Taher. You talked about in detail, and I need the response with a quick one. So not the more detailed or elaborative one, so that it gives other panelists chance to answer. So the first question they ask about is, have you implemented DCIM and what kind of data center monitoring tool you are using? Because I know, and you talked about a lot in terms of automation in your network security, server applications, you have got a big application team who develop the application for your bank and meet the requirement. So one question which came to me is that whether Islami Bank has implemented DCIM and what kind of and what is your experience, if yes?
Actually, Islami Bank recently implemented the DCIM. So all the monitoring all the resources actually now are taking place from my central North Center. I have told you that before my first session that we have separate North session, we have the separate SOC session. So all the times actually they are monitoring also from their home through mobile, through apps, through VPN, so that they can monitor all the times the battery health, battery utility level, and also while the UPS goes down and the messages are going to the individual administrator, those who are actually configured as a administrator. So in this way, actually we are monitoring and getting the messaging system, alarming system. So we are those who are working in-house at the night period in the data center, they are getting the alarms. Those who are responsible as the administrator, they are getting the messages in their mobile. So actually they can they are the capable, and during the pandemic situation, actually we have just created our workplace from the home virtually, and so that everyone can, every support service people can get access to the infrastructure for monitoring or providing support service.
What you were saying is you have implemented and you have got those devices on the facility layer takes care of those things, right? Great, thank you. One follow-up question with Mr. Wong. You talked about integrating your messaging solution with OEM, DCIM, other management and this solution in terms of where. And you also said customer doesn't have to buy multiple systems and they can couple of monitoring or messaging system, you can opt your messaging solution and it can solve the purpose of a notification and the proactiveness case of whatever required to be done. So is it your solution like that?
Yeah, that's right. So our system basically is platform agnostic. So what it meant is that any companies can actually just or any product can just connect to us as long as they conform to the standard messaging format running on TCP/IP. So for example, we support SMTP email. So as long as your application, whether is it DSIM or whether is it SIEM or any, even UPS, right? So as long as you can send an email using a standard port 25 or start TLS port, or you can just send to us. We can convert any email to send to your text on your phone. So in the same approach, we can send SNMP trap, syslog. We support REST API. We also support API like JSON, XML, and even FTP. So I think with this method, what we have seen in a lot of products in the market is that they have at least one of these methods of integration or passing of data. They can pass this data to us and we can process them and we can convert them to the text message like SMS and then send to the phone. I mentioned it's I need devices because we are going by unlimited license. So we do not really restrict you connecting how many applications to our SendQuick products. Similarly, we do not restrict you to how many recipients they will receive the messages from our system. Okay, so that's why I made a statement, and your question is correct.
So you create API?
Yes, correct. So we have API. So we have API for HTTP posts. We have API for REST API like JSON, XML. for customer to use.
Great. Thanks. I'm going to Mr. Aleksandr on the video surveillance solution. And in India also, we have a lot of smart cities being created, and we see a lot of city surveillance, traffic surveillance. Obviously, surveillance has got huge amount of applications, and obviously it has got a lot of advantages of your video management system, and you are also integrating DCIM out of it. My specific question is around application of your video management system on data center, and any specific incident or any specific outcome, if you can be able to share without naming project or something, then it becomes easier for our audience to correlate.
Well, you see, the general incidents from our perspective are failing hardware. And this is
So how
something
do you
that we
know
mainly
hardware
need
has
to address.
failed?
First of all, because how the enterprise solution works, you have a central management server.
Yes.
Which actually managing everything. It's certain kind of, you can call DCM as well, but in regards only of video surveillance system. Because yes, we as a platform, we can cooperate with POS, access controls, and etc. But in general, our central management server is DCM for actual surveillance system, which can work for nationwide, international wide, doesn't matter. But basically, the server always monitors all other recording servers. And you have also a failover server for CMS, which monitors the server, which is monitoring all other server, because this is the way it is, especially in the complicated scalable solutions. So the main thing is always and always failing of the hardware. So, and you don't need to even say the project, it's just the way it is. Yeah, the hardware fails because it's always something, there's nothing perfect.
How do you know the hardware had failed?
Okay, so let's pull the quick and simple thing. Once in configure time, we check in connection to each server or each camera or each anything. There's no connection. Okay, we assume we need to send another ping if we didn't receive, so more often. Yeah, let's say we usually send once in 5 seconds. We didn't receive in 5 seconds. Every second we'll send for 3 times. No return. Switch off to the failover. Simple as that, because we can't risk. You can put it lower.
I'm not able to understand how does it complement or replace the server management application?
Well, because you see, in our case, it's a huge system that needs to work constantly. So we won't be fixing something with our system. Yeah, for us, it's quicker and faster to replace or redistribute the workflow. So if we see one of the services failed, yeah, there's only 2 solutions. Or take the cameras this server was working with to other servers, or request another server to take responsibility of the failed server. Simple as that. We also can warn users if something is about to fail. Thankfully, we have all this also this capability, yeah. But the general issue is always failing hardware, which completely shut down the server. And you can take any project. This is something to worry about, especially in scalable system. More servers you have, more chances that something will go off. Another thing that we also address is failing networks. So in this case, we have also replication server, which using your local recording server as a buffer, and a data center remotely collects the data. But if you lose the connection, you still will not lose the data, which is important because it will be kept on a buffer server for necessary, well, certain period of time.
Okay, okay. Thank you. Thank you. One more question is going to Anjani. You talk about you have management and analytical solutions also apart from the monitoring and measuring devices. So are you talking about white space monitoring or are you talking about the overall data center monitoring and management?
Yeah, so I'm talking about the entire data center management monitoring, including
Data center management has multiple modules. You have got power module, cooling module, and from chiller to bus bar to XYZ, everything gets monitored. So are you talking about that, or you are talking about white space monitoring?
No, I'm talking about the cooling, UPS, and so if you talk about the energy distribution, starting from the distribution panel till the power distribution unit in the rack, the PDU in the rack, the entire energy distribution network we're talking about. Okay, once you have the power inside your data center, after the transformer, from the load transmission panel until the rack and the power distribution unit, we're talking about monitoring and analyzing what's happening throughout the power channel, then entire energy distribution channel. Does that answer your question?
Yeah. So one more thing is that when we talk about monitoring and management, there are broadly two aspects to it. One aspect is more about the availability aspect of it, the criticality aspect of it, and second part is more about operational aspect of it, operational efficiency, energy efficiency, and so on and so forth. So in this, whatever solutions which you have, how is it taking care of both the aspects, or it is taking care of only the first aspect, which is uh, availability aspect of it, the criticality part of it?
Yeah, no, it is both. First is definitely the availability in terms of keeping the uptime in mind, the entire availability in case if there is any problem with a specific source, you should be able to quickly look into check which point has the problem. Is that the distribution breaker point, or is it the PDU level, or is it at the UPS level? So that's one area which we look at it. And from the quality perspective, we look at the complete frequency, the leakage of the current that is flowing to a at points or a phase neutral compromising, etc. and all. And all the power factor in all aspects, RMS current, apparent power, in all aspects of power, we also look and tell what's happening. So voltage drop or a frequency issues, all that can be monitored in case of a reverse current flow, etc. So both.
Great, thank you. So I have one more question from audience. This is very generic, interesting one. What should be the impact of this kind of event like DCT Summit in the field of data center industry in Bangladesh? So very interesting question. It is not so relevant for the topic, but as we are concluding this event through this session, it may be relevant. So I want just a 1 minute feedback or view about this answer to this question. So I'll again go back to Mr. Taher and then follow the other panelists. 1 minute, so quick one. You are on mute. You are on mute, Mr. Taher.
Actually, I am agreed with the participant actually who has asked for the question. Actually, we need more and more session physically so that everybody can visualize and physically see the overall performance, overall technical details they can handle, they can get the share, they can ask the question to every desk, so that it will be better just to popularize the data center and also just to encourage the people to get the more devices in a single place so that they can choose the best one physically observing all the things, all the specification. So I also agreed with the participants, those.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Wong?
Yeah, I think such a platform like the DCT Summit is definitely very useful for Bangladesh, and I believe that there should be a lot of this positive spin-off, right? Basically, you're actually able to bring, especially now it's virtually, right? Bringing in the best knowledge and the expertise from the different vendors, different users, and educate the whole industry about the way to build good data center and the way to manage good data center. I think one great implication is that when you talk about data, when you talk about internet connectivity, actually there's no geography, right? I think there's a very possible future in the Bangladesh, right, where you have a lot of people, you have good labor, educated labor, and if you can build up your infrastructure and build good data centers, there's no reason why companies like AWS or Azure or Google, right, not to place a data center in Bangladesh and to serve maybe the sub-Indian continent.
Yes, great. Thank you. Mr. Anjani, quick one.
Yep. So it's very important at times to understand what's happening around the world, right? So countries like Bangladesh, India, and all, we are not really into taking the risk of adopting the revolutionary changes without understanding the success rate of it, because it's very difficult for us to invest so much and take the whole risk. So when these kind of events really bring us to share the experiences, mostly the success stories, what's happening around and where we have to be cautious, careful, etc. So that makes markets like Bangladesh to adopt the right technologies and take the right steps without taking much of an risk, knowing that we are economically very tight country, right?
Right.
We have that freedom of spending left and right and wait for the result. We can't do that. We have to be very cautious in spending every penny what we have in hand. So these events especially influence in the entire audience and the fellow technology providers also to shake hand and move together towards the right objective. So that's my take.
Great, thanks. Yes, Mr. Aleksandr, your view?
Actually, it's really hard to add on something after just Wong and Mr. Anjani, because they actually said it really the way that I felt as well. I guess one thing to add, you see those kind of events, and especially regarding the region of Bangladesh, yeah, it gives opportunity where we're not speaking about the new fancy technology that just up to the new case technology, but we're going like from the follower position where what actually needed by the market, proven by the market, and how it demanded by the market. This is the opportunity for people to learn and put in use already, not just use this, some fancy, crazy showcase technology, but see what in world proven, really worth spending, investing, and how it will return your investments. Simple as that.
Thank you. Ram? Your inputs?
Yeah. I think DCtSUMMIT, the way I look at it, was the gateway to Bangladesh for the data center industry. And through this gateway, Bangladesh is able to get to have a look at the various technologies, the various advancements that is happening in the data center industry globally, and how much of this is valuable for the Bangladesh market and what fits these technologies bring into the Bangladesh market. So it's a perfect bridge between Bangladesh and the global data center industry. I compliment Masood for getting it done on a continuous basis. In spite of this this year's situation, he has been able to put together an excellent 3-day summit and a virtual summit. So yeah, I think many more such DCT summits are required in this part of the world.
Great, thank you. From my point of view, if I think this DCT summit, they're playing a role where they're getting the customers in Bangladesh and the technology service providers, OEMs, on the same platform. And this platform is making them aware of what is happening in the globe, what are the different kind of technology which is available in different domains, different areas, so that they can be able to evaluate and get the best out of it. And this particular platform has been really helping the data center industry, because Bangladesh is a very small country, but in last four years, I have been frequently going to Bangladesh now for last 4 years. What I have seen is the level of dynamism or level of things which is happening in Bangladesh is absolutely different level as compared to other small countries in this part of the world. So keeping in view the current situation and the country overall economic situation also, still there is a demand, there is a demand in data center growth. I have seen a lot of customers coming and expanding or building the new one. Even I have seen co-location players coming and building data centers. So demand has not dropped down, it is increased. And this particular platform where myself has known a couple of individuals or people or organizations in this through this DCT platform. And I also knew a lot of things which I was not aware of. It has been very beneficial for me too. And the topic was data center monitoring. And fortunately, we had our panelists from end user group, and we also have the technology service providers or OEMs for different set of the monitoring requirement in our panel. And all of them, they have given their inputs, the details, and their contribution to the data center, whether it is in terms of the availability aspect of it, or whether in terms of the operational efficiency aspect of it. So I would like to thank first Masood for sustaining this platform in spite of so much of disturbances across the globe, and even through the virtual platform we have been connected. Also, I would like to thank all our panelists who have been able to spend this time, their knowledge, their mind share on this platform. And not last the list is all the audience who are connected on this platform. And one thing I have seen in this session, the people had been consistently connected to this. So whatever number of people are on watching this particular discussion, I have seen a lot of sessions people drop out at the end or in between. There has been a consistency where people are connected and hooked on to this discussion. That says the value what the audience is going to or they are getting out of it. I would like to wish Masood for having this session real next year, and over and above, we would like to recommend him to have more small sessions in this part of the world so that we don't have to wait for 1 year to get connected to the people of Bangladesh, and we can be more frequently connected and sharing this platform or the value what we are talking here. So thank you very much. Have a great evening. Take care. Shab khair.
Good night.
Thank you very much, everyone, for joining, and it was a fantastic session. Yes, we shall discuss on small session, because virtual is a new normal now. So every year we will do at least one physical session if the situation is over, and we will do a small session actually. So we will update all of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And good night.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Thank you, Masood bhai. Yeah.
Thank you, brother.